the books that you mention are very different types of books. And if you look at the writing,
Huh.
also the writing and the pace,
Yeah.
the style is slightly different. Rebel
Yeah.
Sultans is brisk. It covers a vaster period of time.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of irreverence and humor that I try to throw into that book. And it's
Hmm.
a meant to be a sort of fast-paced read. Ivory Throne is a
Hmm.
705-page book, I think, and
Hmm.
it was a colossal work. Even at the
Hmm.
manuscript level, in those days, it was my first book, so I didn't know what the average book manuscript was like. Today, publishers will tell
Hmm.
you 60,000 to 75,000 words for fiction and 100,000 words to 120,000 words for non-fiction. That's the sort of
Hmm.
ideal number that they're looking for. This book was
Hmm.
245,000 words, The Ivory Throne. So
Hmm.
they had to
Hmm.
use the smallest font possible, cram in the notes at an even smaller font, make it paperback, etc., just to be able to publish the book in a
Yeah.
commercially profitable way. So there's that practical side to also consider.
Hmm.
Research, you're right. It's several layers and it's several things. For me, the first thing was to read what was already out there on the subject, which wasn't very much. There were a few
Hmm.
official reports, a few official publications from the 1940s in Travancore, in Kerala. There was a book of her correspondence that one of her granddaughters had published privately. So it wasn't available in the market. I had to write to them and get a copy from her directly. So that's how that had to be obtained. So that gave me a basic outline of who this person was and what her life was like. But then you have to do a lot more. On the one hand, you have to go into the real depth of the archives and try and unearth documents, papers, intelligence reports, government files. What were the inner workings of her life in the palace? The palace intrigue, those kind of things, the kind of
Hmm.
masala and the drama. And a lot
Hmm.
of this is not masala, as you said, that I've created. It's actually in the records because the
Hmm.
British used to keep records of these things, and you actually have
Hmm.
archives that give you this kind of information.
Hmm.
The other side of things is what did she accomplish with her power? So that's the official reports, the files, that kind of thing. The newspaper journals, what were her critics saying? What were her supporters saying?
Hmm.
You look at newspaper records of the time to understand what the public thought of this person and what their view was.
Hmm.
The nationalist struggle is
Hmm.
also happening. So what did Gandhi think of her? What did other nationalist leaders
Hmm.
think of her? She had
Hmm.
random
Hmm.
visitors. Edda Mussolini's daughter came and met her. Are
Hmm.
there photographs? What are the
Hmm.
details that are available? And one interesting detail I could find was when Mussolini's daughter came to the palace, she was taken aback to find that the Maharani used to walk around the palace barefoot. Now, for us,
Hmm.
it's very normal to walk around barefoot, but you can sense that for
Hmm.
a European, even inside the
Hmm.
house, when you're formally receiving somebody else, you wouldn't have bare feet. Right? So small
Hmm.
details like that come out of
Yeah.
the vastness of the archive and the different
Hmm.
kinds of sources that you're looking at.
Hmm.